Hello, lovely lion Leo. And hello, Wildcat Sanctuary followers and supporters. You are tuned in to a live post here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Hello and welcome. That is Rescued Lion Leo taking in what is a great bit of sun in this marvelous new free-roaming habitat that he's in. Leo was a part of that kind of cat chain reaction move we mentioned, or you saw rather, on a live this week, that Kim and Carl are in Leo's space in Wild Woodlands. He did a little switcheroo with them, as it were, and he is now here in Roar Ridge. And that move, of course, made for a number of reasons. I think an important one is knowing how the Wildcat Sanctuary is always monitoring our rescues and the stage of life that they're in. Lion Leo, he's been here since 2019, and Leo is now, in his mid-teens. And, as a senior lion, we want to accommodate, just like I said, the phase of life that he's in. And so this space here in Roar Ridge, it's still going to give him all the kind of natural offerings like bushes, trees, caves, but in a little bit more of a contracted space for this guy as he ages. So happy to see Mr. Leo taking full advantage of this new space, and of course happy to have all of you along for this Friday live post. And I'll admit, I'm just going to, clear the air right now. I'll admit I had a scheduled live post over in Feline Meadows. We had set out, and the caretakers did an excellent job, so I'm doubly disappointed because I'll schedule out these live posts. We'll communicate with the caretaking team, let them know who's going to be on the live and how they can help, by placing unique enrichment, or maybe they already had something fun planned. So we had a whole plan set in place and in motion even. Simon and Jeremy got some unique hanging enrichment. But since 11 a.m., I had restarted the internet and restarted it again over there and could not get it to budge. So I guess it's, me making an excuse. I often don't like having excuses, but knowing that Simon and Jeremy, we were able to get some documentation of the boys enjoying some of their enrichment. But dang it, I wanted to be over there for a live, but it's still great to be here with Leo, especially after his move, so we can check in and see how he's doing. But darn it, hoping to see those white tiger boys. But as always, you guys are so patient with understanding, how our Wi-Fi coverage works across the 40 plus acres that we're on here at the sanctuary. So thank you guys for that patience and tolerance. Kind of zooming out here even more, Leo is in one of those habitats where sometimes I really have to slow down and look for the cat. And that's obviously a great thing, understanding that, our rescues are still living in a captive environment, but that we like providing these natural spaces. And what comes with natural is a lot of trees, bushes, and opportunities for even a full-maned male lion like Leo there to kind of disappear and use some of that camouflage that Mother Nature has provided him. But just, kind of how, like we covered on the live with Kim and Carl, it was the old switcheroo of cat moves that happened last week. Our caretaking team, as always, executes those cat moves with the utmost safety and efficiency for the people involved and the cats involved. And it would have been last week that, like I said, Leo and Kim and Carl did the switcheroo. And Leo, of course, having as always, when we do sedate the cats, we like having a wellness exam and checking in on just getting, like I said, a meter of Leo's health, as I also said. He's one of our senior rescues. So getting a measurement of that, and Leo, of course, passed his wellness exam with flying colors. Dr. Clark or Dr. Camper both said that all parties, including Mr. Leo, did wonderful. So, of course, that's a part of the cat move. And then always, welcoming the cats to a new space with something special. So obviously the habitat that Leo's in is really kind of decked out with a lot of Kim and Carl scents, but I know Leo had a couple pumpkins placed for him in his new space and some blood sickles just to help ease the transition, as our caretakers often do. Big lion yawn from Leo, and he sees his caretaking team. Like Jackie, Julie, and And Alex, I'm happy to see you, but I heard walking behind me, and this is Kimba's habitat right behind us. And Kimba, as you know, is a shy gal. And I got excited because I heard some creaking behind me. Yes, I'm excited to see you. I also was hoping that it was going to be Kimba.
Well, you know what? I'm close enough.
Close enough, exactly. We appreciate you nonetheless, Alex.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you. I have to admit, my heart rate did go up a little bit. I was like, oh boy, is Kimba right behind me? And am I going to turn around to see Miss Shy rescued Eurasian lynx Kimba? We did see Kimba. You're going to find her in the mornings and evenings. So really, if I can get out to take photos as early as I can in the day, and if I can get out to take photos as late as I can, you'll see Kimba out and around. But we were able to get some shots of her and her helping us promote our weekly wish list on Wednesday. But as always, you guys know I like capturing it on the live so we can experience as a collective. But happy to have everybody along with us on this Friday. That's rescued lion Leo kind of sauntering through his new free-roaming habitat here in Roar Ridge. His caretaking team has just pulled up to the building. And hey, wherever Leo is at the Wildcat Sanctuary, he knows that when that magical UTV vehicle comes humming by, that typically he can associate a lot of good things happening, whether it's new enrichment, food, of course. I think Leo is, also one of those cats who has a little bit of a social nature to him. So there's a lot of value with Leo even kind of recognizing and kind of triggering some of that same muscle memory of, well, here comes the caretaker, and I know that I have an indoor bedroom just like I had in that new location. And so here I come. And it seems like I am full of excuses today, Mr. Leo, but it is one of those days. About 98 of you, almost 100 people watching. I can see that you're watching. It will tell me that Amy Brooks is watching, for example, or Marcelino Aguilar is watching. But your comments aren't popping up. But as always, please make your thoughts, theories, and opinions heard. I know the caretaker, or rather the animal care media interns are, you can tell it's the end of the week for Judson here. The media interns are up in the office manning the computers and phones, so I'm sure they're able to see your comments and get to you there. And I really do think you can see, I know, maybe to the naked eye, the mane on Leo, might not look as different as you'd think from Carl. We were kind of talking about how Carl, and not poking fun at Carl, but Carl's got a little bit more of a, looks like he almost has like a static charge. He's got the electrified mane look, as I call it. And there's Leo entering his shift yard, and his caretakers are going to ask him to come into his bedroom, and then that's where they're going to do their feeding. And it's kind of tight quarters in Roar Ridge, so I'm not going to be going inside to join them. But I am going to maybe just see. And I know that Lucy gets her meal inside because it consists of a ground diet. They're actually working on getting Lucy a little table for her to have some outdoor meals too. Can check in and see how Leo's doing with entering his new bedroom, and A+ for that. We're also seeing some new construction. That's a shift yard that's been created on this here in this habitat, and because we actually have some potential ideas for who's going to be joining Leo on the other side of that. We're hoping Lilac or Alyssa will be able to. So glad to see that shift yard's completely finished, and now each one of those cats on either side of these two habitats is going to have access to not just a shift, but an indoor space too. But as it goes, when the caretakers are in the building, they're typically going to be feeding every single rescued resident that is in that building. And so that means Dash, for example, he's inside getting his meal. That means Indy, Lucy, and of course Leo, who we saw walk inside, they're inside getting their meal. So we might have to find some greener cat pastures, so to speak. I'm going to walk over and see what's happening in Cougar Cove. But nonetheless, happy Friday, everyone. I'm glad to have you all with us. It was a fun live with Mango yesterday and Tammy, so I hope everyone got to watch that. And hey, it's it may be, the first weekend in October, but boy oh boy, does it not feel or look like, I could say maybe it looks like, if you're looking at the trees, it looks like October. But if you were to look at the forecast and the temperature here in northern Minnesota, we're going to be kind of tickling the mid 80 degree mark. Might even get up into the 90s. I mean, wowza. So, definitely the first weekend of fall, or I guess the first weekend of October, I should say, but a little bit more representative of a July weekend. Didn't see anybody over in Langley and Noah's yard. Looking across the way for Tacoma, Quincy, or Rainier. Also looks a little quiet over here too. I mean, admittedly, that sun's already pretty high, and I can tell that I'm overdressed with my long t-shirt, or my sweatshirt rather, and long pants. Interesting. Noah and Langley. Usually, I'm able to kind of sleuth them out in some of their hiding spots. Again, I mean, I never take it harshly when some of the spaces that we're able to provide our rescues, the paparazzi here has trouble kind of seeking them out and seeing where our rescues are actually laying out. But these are our two senior rescued cougars, Langley and Noah, who, this is fun. You can see the leftovers of a pumpkin, talking about getting a jump start on fall. Looks like Noah just kind of sat on that pumpkin or something or the other. Caretakers have been having some fun and certainly kind of carving the jack-o'-lanterns, and then, placing a few beef pieces, chicken pieces, even kind of freezing some of the bloodsicle juice into the pumpkin after they've carved it. So it's fun to see. But admittedly, sometimes they like kind of hanging out along the shared wall where beauty is. But I have a little bit of egg on my face. Looks like Noah, he says, I was in the middle of a catnap, and then all of a sudden I arose to such a clatter because someone's chatting out here. And of course, too, as many of you know, your support offers our rescues not just this roaming outdoor space, but every single one of our 100 plus rescues has an indoor space. And Cougars, Noah and Langley, each of them have their own indoor bedroom. You guys know how it goes with our rescued cougars. We may give, we may have, these allotted bedrooms for the number of cougars we have in a space, but of course, what do you think happens? They love just getting into those cuddle puddles, snuggle puddles, whatever you want to call it, and using a little bit of cougar body heat for warmth. But as always, we're going to give them the options if they want it. Kind of scanning Beauty's yard here for her. I'm always a little nervous to round the corner because sometimes the Wi-Fi can get a little funky. But I would love to see your rescued Eurasian Lynx Beauty. Otherwise, we might go check in with Mr. Noah and try to go all the way around and see if Bentley's out and probably call that alive. But I did mention earlier, and it's, I guess it's maybe just to give me a clearer conscience and to acknowledge the effort from our caretaking staff, that we're hoping to have a scheduled live post with Simon and Jeremy, but at 11 a.m. I was over there restarting the Wi-Fi and restarting it again, and I just could not get it to budge. So that's not without very much appreciating what the caretaking staff did. And of course, Katie, we try to email and set up all of our live posts throughout the week, and so there's certainly coordination going into it. And when the Wi-Fi just stops the train right on the tracks there, it's no fun. But I still want to acknowledge the parties who helped. So thank you, caretaking team, and we were able to get some photos of the boys, and so hopefully we'll see some of them popping up on social media soon. I hear some cougar grumblings. I think Noah was in the bedroom. I think Cougar Langley was out here in that little alleyway that is really hard for me to see, but it's just so shaded. I'm going to zoom in one more time on Miss Langley. barely see. I just don't have a good enough angle, pretty girl. I think I see a cougar ear, and that's about it. I hear some cougar grumbles, which is very, so Noah, so Langley. They're always talking with each other. Yeah, I can tell I'm overdressed. It's hot out here. And that's a good spot for two senior geriatric cougars catching some shade here. So at least we can look at a little silhouette of, looks like Noah there, and Miss Langley's at a kind of to the left, farther back in that foliage there. But glad those two are enjoying themselves. Glad we got to check in with them just a wee bit. Noah kind of, looking like, somebody's teenage son waking up, at 3 p.m. He just kind of stepped out of that indoor bedroom like, what day is it? But glad he's going to join Langley here. Tacoma, Rainier, Quincy, we know them also as wild-born rescues, but certainly cats who have come a long way since their rescue. But certainly understanding the fact that they're wild-born rescues, and that as wild-born rescues, they're certainly a little bit more shy. They're a little bit more purposeful in when they're spending time just kind of out and about, I should say, is that they know, and not in a bad way, they know kind of the motion and the flow of things at Sanctuary, that there's going to be a little bit more activity between kind of the traditional 9 to 5 hours, that maybe there's just going to be a little bit more of commotion that is just at that threshold where maybe they'd like to be, more buttoned down inside of their cave or under a tree as opposed to up on top of the platform or what have you. So long and short, Rainier, Tacoma, and Quincy are great about using their space, but there's always kind of a little educational nugget with everything is, well, why might a wild-born cougar be a little bit more selective about when, and for us to be able to see that these cats have those instincts still and that they're able to do exactly that, feel as free to roam their space when they want to roam those space, we like seeing it. And Alyssa just gave me a wave saying that Dimitri and Griffen just were let out into their habitat after having some cleaning done. So I'm a little nervous about the Wi-Fi over there. I also see that my comments are working, which is wonderful. I'll get into some hellos here. I was hoping to find a Mr. Bentley. I see that handsome man. Hey, dude. All right. He says, hello. Are you rolling around, handsome? He says, it's me, the most handsome leopard. And I'd say, Mr. Bentley, though you are handsome, we have a handsome Shazam who might have something to say about that. I think both of you two are equally as handsome in both of your own and unique ways. Of course, you guys know Bentley, Nasha, Louie, and Miss Lovely Lila coming from the West Coast Game Park Safari. This is Bentley kind of in part one of his yard, with it kind of extending all that whole direction that I was just walking down from. Bentley is so funny. He's got a fast pace that he enjoys life. I've already seen him doing 10 things this morning. When we were down here before the live post, we were just doing some photos with the interns, and I saw him, walking along with caretakers. I saw him up on his skywalks, and then I saw him just kind of set back in the grass, rolling around, and now he's up on this platform and on to the next activity. We're only halfway through the day, and Bentley's already filled out his agenda and then some. There's Thor stalking his new neighbor, Carl, who's walking up the alleyway there. just like we mentioned on the live earlier, it's always incredible just how exciting a cat move can be for other cats. But also, I think that's a spectrum, and it can swing either way. And sometimes we'll do cat moves where you'll maybe see that we've now placed blinds up after the fact. So it not always is going to be the cat will be curious or excited. Sometimes they can be more agitated or unsure, and that we're going to step in to make a difference if we observe something like that. So, ye be warned, I am going to go walk over to see Dimitri and Griffen, who just had some fresh enrichment placed in their yard. We are entering the kind of zero Wi-Fi zone. So I've made my peace. Let's go and see if we can hang out with those tigers for our final little bit on this Friday live, everyone. But as always, it really has been a fun live, and I think relatively pain-free from Wi-Fi interruptions. So we've been kind of started out with Lion Leo, checking in with some cougars, just covering a little ground. Oh, and I also like seeing this. We might see Louis being curious about what his tiger neighbors are up to. I see Dimitri and Griffen had one of the patented puzzle feeders, the cylinder puzzle feeders with the spindle going through it, and they can paw, they can whack. Guys just had their pools emptied. That's always a fun activity for the caretaking team, that is. Good spin. Very good spin, Mr. Griffen. Oh, does that spin come with a prize? It does. Very smart, mister. And, of course, his brother Dimitri. And right behind me is a curious Louis, looking right through me like a pane of glass, wondering, hey, that's interesting. What is that tiger doing? And Louis is very intelligent, very observant. I think we've known that about Louis. And it feels like we're getting a little bumpy on the Wi-Fi business, but hey, I think we're still attached here. Adrian, getting excited about seeing Bentley, your sponsor boy. Well, thank you.